Yeah, and last time Andy Reid was 7-0, he took my Eagles to the Super Bowl and lost.
Marcus Vick just tweeted that that was a stupid point, you dumb mother.
Hey guys, it's your girl Delia with PhilaDehliaEagles.com, and what you just saw was a little quick clip of me on the Young Turks sports panel. So, as you can see, there were some comments to be made about the Marcus Vick tweet that went out during the Eagles-Cowboys game this Sunday. And if you want, you can check out the full clip here. I also talked about several other topics with this group. We covered the Eagles-Cowboys game, of course, and a lot of the other matchups like Niners-Titans, Redskins-Bears, Chiefs-Texans, and the list goes on. So I'm going to put all the annotations here where you can click to see the full discussion. And actually, for this week's NFL headlines, I'm going to expand on some of the topics that we discussed during this panel. And while I'm covering each topic, I will have a link where you can watch the full discussion on the TYT Sports page. So let's go ahead and kick things off with the Kansas City Chiefs, who are now the only undefeated team in the league after beating the Houston Texans. Andy Reid, he is a jolly old fellow right now, and I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy seeing him happy and have success. I just might be a little bitter if they end up winning the Super Bowl. And him going 7-0 right now only reminds me of the good old days when he took my Eagles 7-0 and took us all the way to the Super Bowl and, well, ended up losing the Super Bowl. But man, those were some great times. And that's back when my Eagles had a great defense with Jim Johnson, Brian Dawkins leading that team with so much heart, so much passion. That's when our defense was feared. And that's when Andy Reid's coaching will shine, is when he has a great defense and defensive coordinator. So right now, Andy Reid inherited a great defense with the Kansas City Chiefs, and being that they were one of the worst teams in the league last season, they have an easier schedule. With those things combined, I'm not surprised that Andy Reid's having success. I don't think anybody saw them going 7-0, but, you know, good for him. This was the Texans' 5th straight loss, and after losing Matt Schaub, they ended up losing Arian Foster due to hamstring, and linebacker Brian Cushing was carted off the field with a broken ankle and a torn LCL. Now, I'll say backup quarterback Keenum didn't do too bad for his first start against a really good defense. And at this point, I'm not sure how much better Matt Schaub would have really done. As for Alex Smith, you know, I've always had a soft spot for him because of the way he got booted out of San Francisco when all he really did was try and win them games. And no, he's not a flashy quarterback like some of the elite quarterbacks in the league, but he gets the job done. And that's ultimately what matters. It may not always be picture perfect, as we saw on that fake handoff where Alex Smith fakes left and the running back went right. Yeah, it was a botched play, but he ended up running it into the end zone for a touchdown. I couldn't stop laughing when I saw that, and that pretty much sums up Alex Smith. Another hot topic from Sunday's games was the Jets' victory over the Patriots. It came down to overtime where the Jets kicked a field goal to win it. Now that field goal might not have happened without this random brand new rule that the refs decided to call, which gave the Jets an additional 15 yards. I was reading an article on NFL.com where Rex Ryan had reminded the refs about this rule prior to the kick during this game. So I don't know how true that statement is or not. Now, I had picked the Jets to win this game because the Patriots haven't really posted any convincing wins. They've had a lot of close wins against mediocre teams and some not so good teams. Even though they had Gronkowski back to play in their favor, I felt that when the Patriots faced the Jets back in week 2, Geno Smith was barely getting his feet wet as a starter in the NFL, and he made a lot of mistakes. Geno Smith had 3 turnovers, and every week we've seen Geno Smith progress a little bit more. So this game, I felt he's more prepared. I thought he was going to do a lot better. He wasn't going to have that same turnover ratio he did last time. I knew it was going to be a close game, and I knew the Jets stood a chance. And on top of that, Rex Ryan was really focused in on winning this game. He told the players to not do any physical activity outside of practices, and that tells you how serious he was. And His eye was on the prize. He even took it another level to remind the refs about this random, brand new rule, and it ended up working into his favor. And when I was talking about this on the panel with TYT Sports, I mentioned that it's funny because it's a little ironic that this happened to the Patriots, being that they're the team that's known to get the calls in their favor. So maybe this is the way the football gods are evening out that whole tuck rule situation that the Patriots always get crap for. So one of the most talked about games this past week was Peyton Manning returning to Indy to face the Colts. And you know, I had actually predicted the Colts to win in my Easy Pick'em league, and the reason I saw this happening was because Peyton Manning, he's a machine 99% of the time. Like, he is unstoppable. He's out there running the offense like nobody can, and he executes so well. But he has these mental glitches every now and then. I remember back in the day when he was at Indianapolis playing for the Colts, where he would always lose to the Chargers. I don't know why. No matter how good the Colts were, no matter how bad the Chargers were, they would always get that upset. With him coming to Indy with all these emotions, it's gonna get into his head. And Peyton Manning, he did an amazing job still. It was still down to the wire, and he almost brought them back into the game for the win. But ultimately, the turnovers hurt them, and they lost. And Andrew Luck really solidified his throne as the new king in Indy. And, you know, I respect that. I wish them the best of luck. And I think they are, with this victory, that shows that the Colts are a team to look out for. Because when you look at the teams that they've beaten the Seahawks, the 49ers, and now the Broncos. These are all contenders for the Super Bowl. So I think the Colts are going to sneak in there and be a team to be reckoned with. And as for the Broncos, this was their first true test against a really competitive team, and they lost. Up to this week, they've played, you know, the Eagles, who are struggling, you know, as we've all seen, Raiders, Cowboys, and Jaguars. These aren't teams to brag about when you beat them. So this was their first, you know, really competitive matchup, and they barely lost. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how these two teams are going to play out this second half of the season. I definitely see the Colts doing some big things. So good luck to both teams. So before I close out, you know I got to announce the Easy Pick'em champion for Week 7 and recipient of this awesome Dallas Sucks shirt from PhilaDehlia.com. Also, quick shout out to the homie Jared, who's a Cowboys fan, but he left a comment on this picture when I posted it on my Facebook page, and I thought it was pretty clever and hilarious coming from a Cowboys fan. He said, "Ooh, thanks for the reminder. I need to put on my Dallas socks." Well done, sir. All right, so the person with the best picks this week was Zoran Korak, and congrats, homie. An interesting story about Zoran is me and him used to actually practice and train and compete at one of the same tennis facilities where we met, and I haven't seen this guy since probably high school. So it's cool to see him killing it in the picks this week. So congrats, Zoran. I will be hitting you up to get your info to send out your Philly Faithful prize. All right, that's it for now. Feel free to leave a comment below of one of your favorite highlights from this past week in football, and like this video, share with your friends, and if you're new here, subscribe so you can get all my weekly NFL videos. And also check out TYT Sports. I will put their link down below as well. That's it for now. This is your girl Delia with PhilaDehliaEagles.com signing off. EAGLES Eagles!
Are you a dumb I'm curious.
Well,
You're an Eagle
no,
fan.
I saw this tweet when it happened.
Shut up, you dumb
and- Thanks, Marcus.